Today I'm hanging out in Odessa, Florida, which is north of Tampa. I'm checking out MGB Guitars. Michael's been nice enough to show me around the shop and show me some of the cool things that he's doing.
Yeah, I'll tell you how I got started. I've been a woodworker all my life. Like I say, I've had a 50-year love affair with wood. Started off in 9th grade shop building some stuff, and it just hasn't stopped since then. Really learned to love and appreciate wood and then what we can do to it. About 10 years ago, I stumbled onto a website and I saw a cigar box guitar. And I was able to see that they simply had taken a cigar box, put a neck on it, and turned it into a guitar. And I thought, that's really cool. I don't play. My father did. I know other people that play. I appreciate good music, guitar work. And so I decided that I should do that. I mean, that's just something to figure out. So I started scouring the internet and learning everything I could, and figured out how to do it. Learned a little bit about musical instruments, learned a little bit about guitars, and I took off and I tried to do it. And this is kind of the result of that effort. This is my first guitar. You can see I signed it back in 2010. And I made it, at that time I thought I was doing a decent job. I've learned since then that it's a real piece of junk and hardly playable, but it was my first effort. And then what I noticed is after I'd made this and I'd started showing it to a few of my friends and a few family members and even some of my other woodworking customers, everybody really got excited about it. They almost lost their mind over it. It's like, that's an instrument, that's a guitar, you can really play it? Yeah. And so what I did was I went ahead and said, there's something here. And so I started making more of them, giving them away, sold even a few, which is hard to believe, but mostly giving them away to family and friends, and just kept going. And I had noticed that I was buying more and more parts. And so I just decided to kind of explore what it would take to provide some of those parts or buy direct from the factories in Asia, and I did. And then I was selling some to friends and helping other people do it. And the next thing you know, I decided to start MGB Guitars, and that's how we got to where we are today. And we've really learned a lot in the 10 years. Again, I don't play, but I've worked closely with a lot of luthiers. I've got some friends that are really good at it, and they've kind of helped me. And so what I basically do now, for the most part, is I've learned, and one of the things I always tell people when they're messing with these things, is their guitar is largely a mathematical and a scientific device, okay? It's just not happenstance that the music comes off of there. There are some very specific specifications. It has to do with scale length and the size of the strings and the tension of the strings, the locations of the frets if you have frets on. That's how you come up with the notes. And so it's very scientific. And of course there's a lot of art in it too, and techniques and how you build them. But that's how you build a good instrument. And so over time I've learned, I use some of those luthiers to help me fine tune it. If I've got a guitar that's going to someone who's a real, maybe a professional player or a highly skilled player, I want to make sure that they do a little better, they get a little better instrument than what I'm capable of. So I just give them to my friends, and they'll tune them up, they'll get them set up, and they'll get them right, and then I'll get them to the artist, and hopefully they'll make a video and it'll be on YouTube and everybody can see it.
MGB Guitars has made a lot of different bodies for instruments.
So when I got into building cigar box guitars, I knew that I needed a lot of cigar boxes. And Tampa is a really hot spot for cigar manufacturing. It used to be kind of the worldwide capital of making cigars. But there's still a lot of business here. There's some big distributors, a lot of retailers. So I started hitting all the stores and I started getting all the cigar boxes, and like a lot of people that get into this hobby, you wind up with hundreds of them before you know it. But as I was getting into a lot of the stores and seeing a lot of the boxes there, I saw that some of them just didn't make the cut. Typically for a cigar box guitar, you need something about 8, 9, 10 inches long, something like this, because you have to put the neck on and locate the bridge and stuff. So you need a fairly large box. And what I found was that I was skipping over probably 80% of the boxes that were in the store. And some of them were really, really cool. And so the more I thought about that, I thought maybe what I could do is somehow find a way to use those parts of boxes. And so what I did was I created kind of a line. This is a body that I sell. It's what I call my fat bottom. I also have one that's called a Comet. And what I found is that I could take boxes and literally just cut off the top or the side and actually build a little parquet on there and put them all together. And so in reality, it's still a cigar box guitar because it's made up of largely cigar box components. So this is the one I did on the fat bottom, and again, Oliva has some really nice red and gold boxes, and I use that. Interestingly, this has been probably my most popular one. Lots of people like this box, and it's kind of interesting how we build that. And so you can look at it and you can see all these box joints, and people think I went to all the trouble of making all those individual box joints, and no, that's not how I did that. What I actually do is I take a box that is a box joint, and this is one box, and I basically cut the top off of it, cut the bottom off of it, and then I just flatten it, and so I just fold it out. So this, what used to be 4 squares, is now one flat side. I put it down on the box, glue it down, put a few more on there, and I've got a really nice looking box that really, I think, pops, and again, lots of people like these.
Along with cigar box guitars, he's also doing stuff for ukuleles, regular guitars, basses, and a lot of other cool stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about necks. You know, an important and critical component of a cigar box guitar is a neck. And there's a lot of ways of doing it. And very simplistically, a lot of people just basically take a stick that they get from Home Depot or a broomstick, and they just put it on the box, and that's good enough. Well, of course, there are reasons for wanting to make a little better neck, to get a little more solid component, to put the frets on, to put fret markers. So there's a lot of things you can do. Historically, I've used a lot of what I call the neck through design, and this is kind of a typical neck through neck. I've used them in the past, I'll use them in the future. I still sell a lot of these. Requires a lot of work to get that fitted into the box, and then you got to line it up, and you got to get slots cut in it to put the components in it. And again, it takes a little bit of effort, worth the effort, but you know, I thought there had to be an easier way. So when I began to look at selling ukulele components, ukulele kits, I kind of decided to take a little bit of a different path. I decided to get in the business of selling the neck kits, and it's basically everything you need to finish a ukulele. But I didn't want it to be as complicated as the neck through design, so the idea I used on mounting these was to install a hanger bolt. And I'm not the first to do it, there have been others to do it, but I thought that was the best solution. And basically with a hanger bolt, you can just take a standard cigar box guitar and you can drill a hole in it, and you can stick the neck in, and then with nuts and washers you can go in and tighten it. And they're pretty heavy, it's about a 1/4 inch bolt. And so you can tighten it up, and you can put a lot of torque on that. You can actually glue it into place, and then you've got a really, really nice solid build. And this is one of the kits I'm currently selling, and this is what it looks like when it's done. Again, just a simple cigar box, the kit, which is the neck, and then the hardware and the strings and the bridge and the saddle, everything you need to build a complete ukulele. I've also done the same thing with those bolt-on necks. I have a couple of necks, one I call my super neck, and the other one I call my easy neck, and basically does the same thing. You can take a cigar box and you can just mount it on the box, bolt it up tight, possibly glue it if that's what you want to do, and now in a matter of moments you've turned a cigar box into a base for a guitar.
He's using everything from more traditional techniques to more modern tools.
One of the other things I learned about cigar boxes and cigar box guitars is that once you find one and you really like it and you build something out of it, you can't find any more of them. Yeah, there are thousands upon thousands of cigar boxes out there. They're everywhere. You can stumble across them, you can buy them, but as sure as you get to liking one, then all of a sudden you can't find them anymore. So what I kind of decided to do was to try and solve that problem a little bit, and what I've done is I've come up with these pre-made boxes, and we'll be putting those in the line shortly. And so what I did was I had a factory that specializes in building ukuleles. I said, I need a ukulele body that's actually square. And so this is what we've created. They've taken their techniques and their design skills, and we've made a box, and I think the sound is pretty good on it. And one of the things I also did on it, you can notice the really nice grain. They're all made of sapelli. One of the things I've done is put a sound hole on one side, so you could use this for, again, a ukulele, or you could use it for an acoustic guitar. But the other thing I've done is I've left the other side blank. And I don't know how this is going to work out. It might be another one of my crazy ideas, but the idea is this way you can use it for an acoustic or a ukulele, flip it over, and now you can use it for a cigar box guitar. You can put sound holes in it if you want. You can put decorations on it. And just to make sure it works, what I've done is I've put reinforcement down here to make sure that we can get the bridge secured. And I also have reinforcement on the backside so you can secure a bridge there. So you'll see these coming along, and it'll be an interesting experiment. It could be a total success or a total disaster.
He's always thinking of new designs to make cooler instruments. I picked up a couple parts while I was here, and I'm excited to do some building. It's been fun to check out the operation here and talk shop with Michael. He's making a lot of cool stuff and a lot of awesome parts.